Hello everyone, welcome to our channel today, and that is Double Click Academy, your ultimate online lessons. Now, today you realize we are going to look at something that is very interesting, and that is the art of the business, that is entering customers and vendors balances in QuickBooks. Remember, a business without customers and vendors is not a business, rather we can call it something else. So that's why today we should be in position to really see and get the techniques of how we create the customers, how we enter the vendors and their respective balances. Assuming the balances are there, that's why we should watch this video, and that's why you should be staying tuned to make sure that you really get the technique. But we have to know that before we watch this video, we also have other subsequent videos that you should have watched before coming into this video. You'll find it in our channels, and that is the first one being how to create a company in QuickBooks. This is very important because without this, you will not be in position to enter customers and vendors because you don't have a company. That's why you should watch this video so that you'll be having a company, and in your company, you'll be in position to add customers and vendors. Also, make sure that you watch our previous video, and that is how to set the currencies and taxes in QuickBooks Desktop, because with that, you'll be in position to set the currency and you know the type of currency that you're using. If you're using the Kenya shilling, please put there the Kenya shilling and watch this video. You'll be in position to know that if it's a Ugandan currency, please put the Ugandan currency. If it's the South Sudanese currency, please set that dollar and all that. That's why you should watch these two videos before we come to how to enter our customers and vendor balances in QuickBooks. Also, what you have to know is subscribe on our channel. Click on it and subscribe so that you'll be in position to get any kind of latest updates that we always post into our video, and you'll not miss anything, and the flow will always be on your YouTube channel and you'll be in position to get the ad. That's why you should stay tuned and watch this video. So that's why this is our channel, and remember we are still working on the same company, that is Double Click Academy. This is our company that we are using for our tutorials, beginning from the first and second and now the third. We are using the same company. Now we have to know that we have our homepage now here, and this is now where we can now do everything that we wish. And first and foremost, we would like to enter the customers into our system, and after that we shall also enter the vendors. The arrangement doesn't matter, whoever you enter first, provided you're not doing any other transaction before, but this is now the main one. So we are going to start with customers. Remember, we have our toolbar here whereby we have a file. You'll get time and explore all the options we have here. We have file and all that, edit, view, list, current, favorites, accountant, company, customers, and so forth. Now we are interested in basically entering the customers of the company. And for the customers, we can either enter the customers from here, or we can come to customers here. It's all the same. It's only that their positions are different, but all of them will take us there. But this one is more or less of a shortcut form, and we also have vendors here, more or less of a shortcut form, but we also have this. Why these ones are shortcut? Because when you click on customer like this, it takes you straight to our customer center. You're now here in a customer center, and you're free to start entering your customer names and other details. That's why it's a shortcut form, but we are saying this one is a little bit longer. It's the same to vendors. When you come to customers here, it will give you a list of other options, and you'll choose now from there that you need to go to customer centers. Now, other options we have here, like creating invoice and enter sales receipts to those respective customers. We have receiving payments. All of them are here. That is all that is concerned with the customers. We have them here. But our interest today is how to enter customer center. So we shall click on that. It gives you the same thing, assuming you clicked on customer, which you saw earlier on. It gives you the same thing here. So this is now the customer center page. Now this is where we shall be in position to add our customers. At the moment, we don't have any customer. There's no currency and balance. Nothing is available here. So how do we enter customers or a new customer? We enter new customer by coming to new customer and job here. Then we shall click on that, and here we have new customer, add job, add multiple customer jobs, and our interest is on new customer. So we shall click on the new customer, and it gives us this. Now here we have the customer name. Now, assuming we also have our list of customers, say for example, these are our customers. We have our customer name being Darlington, then the telephone number is this, then the address we have this one, and the balance being this. the balance basically means this is maybe assuming we are starting our financial year. The balance is this balance is was carried forward from the previous year, and now we have the balance with Darlington of 1,500,000 Uganda shillings. Now this is what we have basically on that. So how do we enter this information into our QuickBooks? Now, for us to enter this information, we have already gotten the details. We know Darlington, we have his contact, we have his box number, the email address, the website, and Darlington, we have a balance with Darlington. Now, we know Darlington is our customer, and our customer, it means this is the debt we have. Darlington is supposed to pay this amount of money to us at a certain period of time, and it was brought from the previous year. That's why what we call in balance here. And we can go straight to our customers. Now, customer name. Our customer name, we are saying our first customer here is called Darlington. So it means we shall now type here Darlington as our customer name. So our customer name is Darlington. Assuming Darlington was having a company or there was a company for Darlington, we'll put here. But if it's not, we can still call Darlington Company. And that is basically what we have. Now, assuming this was a company name, we would put a company name here and we would now try to name who is Darlington in this company. Darlington is either Mr. or whatever, we put it here. Then we also put job title, who is Darlington in this company. But now we realize here we only having Darlington and Darlington Company. We may assume there is no company, or that is Darlington Company. Assuming we're given the other details, who is Darlington in the Darlington Company, we'd also put the details here. Then now the main phone number. What is the phone number we have for Darlington? The telephone number we have is this. So it means we shall basically look at that, and that is what we are putting in either our main phone or work phone or mobile, wherever. So you can put it wherever if they have not specified it, and you can put it that. So we shall also, assuming we're having a fax, would include here the fax, and this is Darlington as the address. Now what is the other address details we have? We have PO box, and all this is our address. We shall now pick that as our address, and that is PO Box 917 Masaka. You realize Masaka is one of the cities in Uganda, a newly created cities in Uganda. So we are having that information under our address. So there is Darlington PO Box 917 Masaka. Is one of the cities we have said in our country Uganda, that is central Uganda. So we have added now the details of Darlington into our QuickBooks. But before that, we also have the email address here. So we shall also add the Darlington's email address here by going to address side. That is main email. Assuming this is the main email, we shall put there darlington@gmail.com as our Darlington's email address. Also, Darlington has a website, so it means we shall now also add the website address into Darlington's details. That is, the website is here, then we put the website there. So you realize we have given here some information about Darlington. Assuming this is the main invisible bill. Whenever there is a bill being made, that's what will happen. Show from that invoice. But also, assuming there was shipping somewhere, you'd also maybe copy it somewhere, and it will go to the Darlington shipping always whenever there is shipping. So this is the information for Darlington, and the details, you could also add the details on when Darlington could have maybe been included in the company information. And then after that, we shall only click OK. So you realize after clicking OK, it shows up from here that this is Darlington, and the currency is UGX. The balance is still zero, but remember, we have these balances here for Darlington. That is 1,500,000 Uganda shilling for Darlington as a balance. So this is the balance that should be showing up from here, but we shall not add it up from here. We shall now have another section of adding this. So you can choose either you start adding straight away, or you can first create all the customers and then you add the balances later. And now our next customer, for us, we are taking that we first add the customers, then we shall include their balances later. So our next customer here is Bellington. Bellington is our next customer with his respective details. So here we have Bellington, and the company is not given, so we shall assume the company is also Bellington. If the title was given just like the way we explained, we would also give those details. And Bellington's phone number is also here given to us, so it means we shall also add Bellington's phone number somewhere, and that is Bellington's phone number. Which other detail? Bellington is also somebody from, okay, there is email address here for Bellington. We shall get these details and include it into our Bellington eh, address. So this is now our details about Bellington. So these are the details about Bellington, and that is the box number along Gweri Road. So still we realize Soroti is also a new city in Uganda. Now Uganda has so many cities, and Soroti is one of the cities in the eastern part of the country, and that is where Bellington company is. So we also have the email address for Bellington, and that is the email address is given to us here. That is the email address. We also have a website for Bellington. It means we shall also add Bellington's website there into our QuickBooks company. So that is basically the details about Bellington. We can do the same thing, put the same details for shipping, so that we shall have this shipping whenever we're making any shipping to Bellington. And that is basically that about Bellington. Then we shall click on OK. Now that is about Bellington. Now here we have Bellington, we have Darlington, and then we also have our third customer, and that is Sandra. So we shall also add here Sandra as our next customer by coming to the same steps. And here now we have Sandra there. We have Sandra. What are Sandra's details? Sandra's these details. We have details for Sandra being, that is Moroto. Moroto is in Karamoja sub-region. If you're familiar with Uganda, you should be in position to know where Karamoja sub-region is. And these people also have their email address. The email address is basically this. Then they also have a website address. And the website address is also given for Sandra. We shall also include Sandra's website there. So this is how basically you can add up your customers into your QuickBooks. Now here you realize we have 3 customers, and whenever you click any customer here, there is a detailed information here. Darlington's information is also here. Sandra also appears whenever you click any. So basically, these are the customers we have. That is the first step we do. We add up the customer details. Then now, after that, we shall now close this because it has already been saved into our customer details. Then now we create a main account. Since these people have balances, some of them have balances, we know now that these are customers. And we know that customers are we call them either customers or debtors, or also accountants call them accounts receivable. So we basically now create our account called either customers or debtors, whichever account we shall like to name it, but provided we know that that account falls under account receivables in QuickBooks. So how do we do that? We basically want to add that account, and we do that through coming to accountant here. Then from accountant, we come to chart of accounts. We want to add an account here called debtors. And we can either call it debtors or we can call it customers, whichever. So remember these are already existing accounts we have because of how we created our company, but you can still add your own accounts here other than using this. So we can now add our account called debtors account. So how do we add an account into chart of accounts? We add an account into chart of accounts by us coming to accountant, and then we come to chart of accounts. Anywhere you find chart of accounts are also in the list. It's the same chart of accounts. So we come to accountant, and we basically come to chart of accounts. It gives us this. Then now from here we can now come to account. When you click on account, we also have all these options. What do you want to do? Do you want to print? Do you want to whatever? Do you want to make any edit on any account? You click on that account and make edits after. But our interest is to create a new account. Now that is the new account. We want now to create a new account that is called debtors. That is the account we want. And we know that debtors in accounting are called debtors or accounts receivables. And here we are not seeing any account receivables. So we shall now come to other account types. And from here we see account receivables are here. Assuming you are adding an account that falls under income, you'd click on incomes. If it was expense, you'd click on expense. If it was a fixed asset you're adding, you click on a fixed asset, and so forth. Now our interest is on accounts receivables, which falls under other accounts. Then we shall click on account receivables here. Then after clicking on account receivables, we now continue because now we want to name that account. The account type is account receivables, but what is that account basically? The account is called debtors. Now this is the account we are interested in creating. And here it shows that we are going to be using Uganda shillings. That is only if you're having one currency. But assuming we are having so many currencies, we will now select which currency does these people use. But we shall now see that debtors use Uganda shillings as we saw. Then we can save and close. Now saving and close means we have already added that account. Debtors account is here, but still shows a zero balance. It still shows a zero balance simply because we have not yet entered these balances into these accounts. So we know that Darlington has a balance of 1.5 million. Then Sandra has 1.7 million. These are the balances now we are going to enter. For Bellington, who doesn't have any balance, we shall not do that because we have already entered Bellington, and Bellington's balance is zero as is shown from our chart of account, from our customer center. So we shall now get back to posting the balances. Now, how do we post the balances? So we shall now first close this, and then now we get back to home page, and now we start looking for a way of posting these balances. Now, how do we post the balances if a customer has balances? You realize there are several ways we can do that, but we are going to look at basically one, that is whenever we're having balances. Remember in QuickBooks, we know that balances are always completed with a double entry account called opening balance equity. That is the account that completes the balances in QuickBooks. So we know that if we are to enter this, we shall enter it into Darlington's account, of which Darlington is a debtor. So we shall come back to our QuickBooks homepage, and then from here we can enter it by doing a general journal or completing a general journal. And where do we get the general journal from? We shall now come back to accountant still, and we look for make general journal entries here. This is make general journal entries, and this is where we can complete double entries from. And now we want to use it we want to complete that by completing a double entry. So we shall click on that, and then it gives us this and gives you this warning. You can close this so that you remain with only our general journal for us to complete. So how do we now post that? We know that the account that we are going to use for posting this balance is the account called debtors account. Remember the previous account we have just created called debtors. This is the account that we shall post this. And in QuickBooks now, when we are completing a double entry, there are always two accounts that are affected. Now, the first one we have identified is the one we have just created, that is debtors account. And then the other one, if it's a balance, we shall complete it with an account called the opening balance equity, which is already inside the QuickBooks. There is no need of you creating it. It's already in the QuickBooks with you, and it's only for you to choose. Now, we start with the account that we have just created, that is debtors. Now, we shall click on account section here on the drop down, then it will give us all the accounts that we have in the chart of accounts. But remember, we're only interested in debtors. So you can either click, if you're not seeing debtors, just start by typing a few words about debtors, and it will show up, and you choose the selection you want. Now we know that debtors always have a debit balance. So it means from here we shall now put the amount that is, or this amount, into the debit side of our double entry. So we shall now know that debtors have a debit balance of 1,500,000. Now that is that. And we're saying that in a double entry, the account should be equal. The amount of money that is in the debit side should be an equivalent amount in the credit side. But before we click anywhere, now you see there is a variation. Here we have 1.5, here we have 0. So if you click on any row, it will already balance. Then your task will only be to choose that account. And we are saying the account we are interested in is opening. You just only type opening and the balance equity comes in. This is the account that completes all the balances that we have in our company. So you realize now the accounts are balanced, and you can set the date. Assuming the date was the closing date, you can set the date here. Maybe it was in December 2021, 31st December 2021. Now you realize we are done with this. Everything is now okay. Then after that, assuming, okay, we are not yet done. We forgot to also enter who is this debtor with this balance. It's true the account type is debtors, but who is this debtor? Is now we shall now come to name here. We have to, for the case of debtors and customers, we make sure that we put the name. It will not accept without the name. And we know that this debtor is a Darlington. So we shall come here and select that it's Darlington who is having this debt. So we shall now complete this transaction like that. So you can either save and new or save and close. Saving and close means you're saving everything here. But saving and new means you're only saving these items, these names, balances you've just posted, and everything remains. So we can first save and new for you to see. It gives you a warning. This is a warning we're talking of sometime that 90 days passed. So, but it's okay with you because you're not having any mistake you've made there. So that one has already saved. That's why you've seen that it has disappeared after we clicked on save and new. Then we now go to the next customer with a balance, that is Sandra of 1.7. So we shall do the same thing. It's still under debtors. Debtors have a debit balance, and Sandra has a balance of 1,700,000, and we are saying this is Sandra. We select Sandra, then we click on this and complete it with opening balance equity. Now that is opening balance equity, everything is okay now. Then since this is a last customer with a balance, we can now save and close. Now when you save and close, this is what happens. It takes you back to the home page. Your home page is now getting back. So that is basically how we post our balances in Quickbooks for customers. Now we go straight to posting the vendors. The vendors also have two. We have vendors here, we have vendors here. So we can now choose whichever we want to use. If we want to use this, we shall click on this and vendor center. Then it gives you almost the same scenario we had like the one of customers. Now here you realize we have URA. Remember URA was also our vendor, which we already set in our previous video. We have URA which was already set with a balance of 0. Now URA is a vendor, so we can leave it there. But our interest now is to add on these other vendors that we have, the new vendors we have here. We have Rosalina, Madelina, Godivina with all their details. So we shall now go straight to adding these vendors. That is the first one being Rosalina. So we have here Rosalina. So you realize it's almost the same box we filled during our customer fillings. So we have Rosalina here. Then we also can just call Rosalina company as well. Then we enter other details, that is the contact. We enter the contact, and the contact being that. Then Rosalina, also there is a box number for Rosalina, and that is in one of the cities again in Uganda. Rosalina, that is in Impigi with that box number. we can do the same things. Roselina doesn't have the the emails and the website, so we can leave it the way it is, but she has a balance of 3 million, so we can just leave that the way it is. Then we click OK. Then we now go to our next customer, who is none other than Madelina. Madelina, he also has a phone number. We shall come to this new. Then now we have Madelina there. Madelina with her contact being this. So we shall also include the Madelina's contact there. Madelina's contact is there, and the contact is that. And Madeline also has she has an address where we can contact her, and that is she's in one of the districts in Uganda, that is in Rakai. So that is that about this. Then we have Godelina. Godolina, before we enter Godolina, we can also copy this for shipping purposes, and we click OK. Then we come to new. From new, now we have a new vendor that we have, that is Godelina. Godelina also has only the box number. There is no, Godelina doesn't have the phone number. So now we enter the Godelina's address. Godolina now is in the capital city of Uganda, that is Kampala. So we can do the same things by saving that. So it means we have created, or we have entered all our suppliers here, or vendors. We call them vendors in Quickbooks, but they could be suppliers as well. So we have entered that. Then now we shall also close this, just like the way we did with the customers. And then we go straight to creating a new account for all, so that we shall be in position to enter all these balances. Just like the way we did it with our debtors, we shall now come to accountant again. We are interested in opening an account called creditors. We shall include that account in the chart of accounts, the same way we created the other one of debtors, and we know that creditors are the same as accounts payables here. Then now we shall call it creditors. So we shall now call it creditors account. It's the same thing here, and now we have created also the creditors account. That is that. Then now we shall go to the same way of entering our balances, just like the way we did with our customers. That is by coming to accountant, then we come to make general journal entries. We set our date there, and then the first account here we have is creditors, and who is the first vendor with the balance is Roselina with 3 million Uganda shillings. And we know that creditors always have a credit balance. So here we have 3 million under the creditor side, and we are saying this one is Roselina's balance. Then we complete it with the same account, that is opening balance equity. This is the account that completes all the double entries. Remember the other time when we're entering our debtors, we entered it, and then after entering this, we came to save new, and the other one we saved and closed. But you can also do it at once because it's the same date. You can now, after entering creditors here with the 3 million, opening balance equity balances it. Then we can even go ahead to now enter also for Godevina. Godevina has a balance of 1,300,000. So we can just go straight, because we know this is still also under creditors. And Modevina has also a balance, and she's also a creditor. She has a balance of 1.3 million. And we are saying this is who? This is Godevina. Then we complete this as well with the same account, that is opening balance equity. So this is a shortcut form. You can add a new all the time, coming, save a new, and the rest. So you realize still it balances because we have entered the first creditor is Roselina with that balance, then we balanced it off. Then the second creditor is Godovina with that balance, and then we balanced it off. So you realize this one saves your time. Then at once you save and close, it will still work for you, and you cannot use more than one AR2 account in the same transaction. okay, this one is refusing, but other versions can still accept that. So we can just ignore this and we go back to post it one at a time, just like the way we have been doing with the customers. So we can just reverse it so that it removes everything. You have not recorded. You want to record it now? No, we don't want to record, so that we can just start afresh. And we are saying this is a creditor, and this is they have a debit balance of 3 million, and this is Roselina, then we complete it off with the opening balance equity, and we shall save a new. And then here we have the still creditors, and the creditors have a credit balance for Godovina as a 1.3 million. This is Godovina, 1.3 million, uh, and we balance it off with opening balance equity. So that is that, and then we save and close, since that is the last customer with the balance. So basically that is how we do it, and thank you for tuning to this channel today, and thank you for listening and understanding how basically you'll be entering your customers and vendors. So in case of anything, please put your complaint on the comments, so that we shall be in position to know what exactly you're thinking of. And for the new people who are watching this, please subscribe to our channel, so that you'll be in position to watch even the previous and upcoming videos for yourself. Thank you so much for listening, and God bless.